you start losing focus on what you have to do, and we've got a job to do, and that's to beat Seattle, and then after Seattle, go on from there. So I just don't let those things filter into my mind.
We will be hearing from Dan Marino later, but Coach, I got to ask you about the Jimmy Johnson watch. What do you think?
Well, I think it's already filtered into his mind. If you go back to 2 weeks ago, he had a press conference. He said, if we're just going to be average, then I don't want to be here. And I think that sends a bad message to your football team. That sounds like you may surrender. If you don't want to be average, you go to work and you work harder. That's the solution.
Coach, I'm sick of this loser bowl talk.
I agree with you.
Putting on this football game. I mean, Mike Holmgren told me, he says, look, this is the first year of my program. We got in the playoffs. Me and my guys, this entire organization are just electrified by getting in the playoffs. This is something to build on.
Well, one thing that Holmgren has that he knows he can count on that maybe Jimmy doesn't have is that's a running game. Ricky Watters, the one guy on his team I think with a good playoff experience is Ricky Watters. Give him the football, let him run. In 10 playoff games that Ricky Watters has, that experience, he has over 100 total yards per game. That means give the guy the football and they got a chance.
In the AFC playoff picture, because of the Tennessee win yesterday, here's how it stacks up. And this Miami-Seattle game, of course, will decide it. Miami wins today. The Dolphins will play at Jacksonville next Saturday, sending then Tennessee against Indianapolis. Other way around, though, Seahawk victory would mean Tennessee and Jacksonville for the third time this season. Titans have won the first two matchups, and then that would, of course, mean Seattle would take on Indianapolis Sunday. Yesterday, well, what a story in Tennessee. And it's worth, folks, at least one more look.
Christie kicks it high and short. Going to be fielded by Lorenzo Neal at the 25. Reaches it back to Wycheck. He throws it across the field to Dyson. He's got something. 30, he's got 40, something. 50, he's got it. 40, he's got it. 20, 10, he's got it. End zone. Touchdown Titans. There are no flags on the field. It's a miracle. Tennessee has pulled a miracle. A miracle for the Titans.
And the line judge, fellas, as you can see it shaded there right away, he said it was a legal lateral. What a miracle it was for Tennessee.
Well, it was just a play that we were prepared for. You know, we worked on it all year since training camp. I was supposed to throw it to Isaac, but I just turned it and tried to sell it, you know, like I was running to the other side and just whipped it back, and I saw Kevin standing there.
And Kevin, where were you at that time?
Man, I was in my dream world. I said, I can't believe this is happening, especially when I caught the ball. I see nothing but blue jerseys and the kicker left, and I just, you know, all I had to do was run.
What was going through your mind when you realized you were in front of Frank? Because it looked like you set up and suddenly went, whoops, and kind of jumped back the other way.
I thought I jumped far enough back that I was behind him, or at least even with him. So everybody came up to me, it was asking me, was it legit? And I didn't realize it was that close. So, you know, when I seen that, and I seen Isaac Burt actually in front of me, he was supposed to catch the lateral, and I was supposed to be the pitch man. And I said, oh man, I'm the last resort. And Frank, I don't even know if he realized he threw it to me. So after I scored.
Hey, was there an ounce of doubt on either one of your parts about that play being legal at the time before it was reviewed?
Not me. Like I said, I didn't realize it was that close till I seen the replay. I thought maybe on the field of adrenaline, I realized, I thought I was behind Frank. I didn't realize it was as close as it was, so I didn't have any doubt.
I just felt that if the referee who was watching the play didn't throw the flag, he felt it wasn't a forward pass, and then they shouldn't overturn it.
Frank, let me ask you, the play on the kickoff, what is it called?
It's called home run throwback, and which is you know, a perfect name for it. You know, just go for the fences. You know, got nothing to lose. Let's go try to win the game, and that's what it was called, and we hit a home run.
Is that what it's called?
He didn't know the name of the play.
I didn't even know the name of the play. They were telling me I was on the field, man.
Do you think there's going to be a quarterback controversy with you involved next season?
Well, actually, I don't think it'll be with McNair, but I think maybe O'Donnell might be in trouble.
To this point. Now, earlier today, the Vikings advanced to the divisional round by virtue of the win over the Cowboys. The only two NFC teams to return to the playoffs from a year ago, and Jeff George gets a playoff win for the first time. This touchdown pass got it started. That one to Robert Smith.
Robert Smith also had 140 yards rushing, a Vikings playoff record.
Yeah, you know what, the mistakes hurt the Cowboys early on. Jeff George late in the first half to Randy Moss, 58 yards scored. Vikings up by 7 at half.
Hey, we got to get Carter into the act. George found him. Bonnie Bernstein visited with him after the game.
Well, it took 4 teams, but how does the first playoff win of your career feel?
Well, it feels good. It's a blessing that I'm here, and I guess a couple of years ago they did me a favor and sent me to Minnesota, and just around a great group of guys and a supporting cast, and I couldn't ask for anything more.
Next up, you're facing one of the most balanced teams in the league. What do you got to do to beat St. Louis?
Well, I just think you have to go into it, like we did today, and cause turnovers on defense and hopefully eliminate turnovers on offense. But we know what they bring to the table, and they know what we bring to the table, and it's going to be a good challenge on both sides.
Jim, Seattle has not hosted a playoff game since 1984, and such a drought has raised questions, eyebrows, and doubt with this franchise. Although a postseason date has certainly created some promise, I wanted to find out if it's really changed the mindset of the Seahawks.
Kick is up, high enough, deep enough for sure, and it hit the upright.
I don't believe in pain. I don't believe there's nothing left but running here again.
Why do you guys go from 8-2 to losing the last 5 and 6?
We are not used to winning. I mean, really, it's that simple.
I don't believe in silence, because silence seems so slow.
I think guys want to win, but I think we need to get more guys that really believe it. You know what I mean?
After we lost last game, we thought we weren't in the playoffs. I was looking around, I was thinking, these guys are, we were sad because we lost. But I remember when we lost the playoffs when I was in Pittsburgh. People were crying. It hurt. It hurt bad. Losing that last game didn't hurt bad enough.
Why does my heart feel so bad?
We have to change the attitude around here, and hopefully this is a step in the right direction, this season, even though it didn't end like we wanted it to.
It doesn't matter how we got here, we're here. We play the regular season to get to the postseason. Now we're in the postseason. You got to start thinking like we are champs. We are the AFC West champs. No matter how we got it, no matter if it was given to us or we backed into it, whatever, it's ours now. And we have to live up to that.
Yeah, we put ourselves in a position. It's the playoffs now.
I think there's a fine line between wanting to do your job and wanting to be the one to make the play that makes the difference. Because when you want to be the one to make the play to make the difference, sometimes you're going to be the reason you lose too.
What is the mentality? Some is, I'd rather try something great and fail than do nothing and succeed. Is that not the mentality, or is it the mentality around here?
I think, it's changing to that. But I think when you start losing, like we lost a couple in a row, I think maybe there's a little bit of doubt in some guys' mind.
Do or die, sink or swim. Shit from within can never bend. Feel me?
But when do the rest of the guys figure out that the guy they have to challenge every single week is self?
I tell you what, Marcus, if we do, then we'll have a great season. We'll fit as far as these playoffs are concerned, and we'll have a chance to win this whole thing. If we don't, we'll be at home asking ourselves that question.
I asked Chad Brown if losing was a habit, and he told me it was a cancer. Whether the franchise will be cured today will not be determined, but we will know if they're on their road to recovery. Jim?
All right, thank you, Marcus. Coach, I thought it was disturbing. It was really almost a must-win situation. They backed into the playoffs last week, but against the Jets, there was no passion for Seattle last week.
Well, I think if you watch that game, you wonder what happened to defense. You wonder what happened to tackling. And you talked about passion. There is no passion when you have no gang tackling and you have arm tackling. I think this is what has to be straightened out for Seattle to do anything in the playoffs. That passion that they had against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, they flew around, and they look like a football team. They got to find that. They got to have that want to play that good.
Absolutely. Seahawks have lost 5 of the last 6, and so have the Dolphins, who backed into the playoffs. And it's been an up-and-down year for Dan Marino, who is about to play what may be his final game.
The NFL Today is presented by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of the Super Bowl.
Welcome back to the NFL Today as we count down to the final wild card game, Dolphins and Seahawks. There may be a special symmetry to this matchup. Dan Marino played his first playoff game against Seattle back in '83, and there is speculation that should the Dolphins lose, today may be his final game.
Dan Marino takes the snap. He looks downfield. He throws deep. It's another touchdown for Central Catholic.
I think Dan Marino will know when it's time to retire, and only Dan Marino will.
Marino, he's about 6'4", and he's got a slingshot for an arm. Mechanically, the coaches say he's just unbelievable for a freshman.
When his time comes, it's not Danny that's going to miss the game. It's going to be the game that misses Dan Marino.
Dan Marino has another record. What a magnificent performer he has been for the Miami Dolphins.
I really think that Dan can be considered as one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game.
For nearly a quarter century, he's dominated almost every field he's walked upon. Dan Marino. Icy blue eyes, cold precision, maybe the best until this year.
Marino throws over the middle, it's intercepted. Look out! Dan fires downfield, picked off.
Oh my God.
And this one will be tipped and intercepted. Dan Marino cannot throw the ball.
Has this been an enjoyable season for you?
No, it's been tough. It's been a tough year because when I hurt my neck and I had the disc problem and the nerve problem, there was a time where I didn't think I was going to be able to throw the ball the way that I was used to throwing for so many years. And I think I'm back to that point right now. But that was tough dealing with that because I didn't know if I was going to be able to come back.
Did you feel you came back too soon?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I don't think I was quite ready to come back, against Dallas on Thanksgiving Day, and I think it showed.
When you step on the Kingdome field this Sunday, is there any thought at all in your mind this might be the last time I walk on the football field as a player?
It does enter your mind, and it has the last couple of years, because you never know what the future is going to hold for you, with injury or you're going to be mentally tough enough to come back and play another season, or you're going to enjoy the competition and everything that's involved with it. It does enter your mind some.
It's hard to imagine this game without Marino. Without the kid from Pittsburgh, the one with the arm for the ages.
He brought us from behind so many times. They called him the man. And I guess he still is Dan the man.
Teenage heroics that still echo in empty locker rooms.
I used to open up the weight room around 7:30 in the morning. There'd be Dan Marino jumping rope for at least a half hour before I showed up on the scene.
The Dolphins select quarterback Dan Marino of Pittsburgh.
Super Bowl 19 is history, and the 49ers are the champions of professional football.
Plan to come back here?
I hope so. I hope we get another chance. You don't get here too often, so you have to make the most of it when you get a chance to play in the Super Bowl, but hopefully we'll have another chance.
Not achieving the one goal of winning a Super Bowl, I think, is a disappointment from my personal standpoint, because I would really like to know what that feels like, to be in a Super Bowl and win.
Can you walk away from the game one day without that being achieved and feel comfortable with your career?
I'm comfortable with my career right now, regardless, and I think I was, 3, 4, 5 years ago, and I haven't achieved that yet. I could be happy with my career, but there would always be that little thing missing, I think.
And there he is in Seattle. And Craig, I have to say this. It's not that the arm is weak, it's the legs. The legs he throws off of, they're tired. A strong hunch here, this would be his last game should they lose today.
The guy hasn't lost his talent. He's lost the ability to do it week in and week out, Randy. I think his legs have gone on him. He's still got the brain, though. I think he can still throw the ball and needs to have a big day.
Well, I think Damon Heward, if they have to throw it to win, it's a guy to do it. And in this game, Kitten and Marino won't win it with their arm, but they sure as heck could lose it.
The NFL Today will continue in just a moment.
The following presentation of the National Football League.
You're striving to get to the top has to be in everyone's mind.
There's a difference in kind of being excited and actually believing. I think this team truly understands that we have a shot.
In Mike Holmgren's first year as Seahawks boss, he's injected an exciting never-say-die attitude. While Miami's boss tries to rally Super Bowl hopes around an aging superstar quarterback. coaches in a wild card weekend war. Next. The Seattle Kingdome has not played host to an NFL postseason game since 1984. Today, at almost 24 years of age, the Kingdome and its 66,000 roaring fans will host what is quite likely the last football game to be played here. Welcome to the finale of Wildcard Weekend here in Seattle, where today the AFC West Division champion Seahawks will play host to the Miami Dolphins. Welcome to Seattle, along with my partner Phil Simms. I'm Greg Gumbel. These teams look so much alike. They both began the season 8-2. They both finished the season losing 5 of their last 6, both 9-7, and both had to rely on someone else losing on the final day of the regular season in order to make the postseason. However, the similarities end there. Jimmy Johnson of the Miami Dolphins, we'll call him Mr. Conservative today.
Well, that's a good word. Jimmy Johnson's going to go back and be what his team was that made him 8-2. Play very conservative on offense. Run the football. Try not to make mistakes and put the game into the hands of your defense. That's the strength of the Miami Dolphins. See if they can win the game today.
By contrast, Mike Holmgren and the Seattle Seahawks are looking to their quarterback to light it up today.
Well, he says playoff games are about stars. And when you talk about stars in a playoff game, you always got to talk about your quarterback. John Kitna, make good decisions, throw the football well. And then your star running back, Ricky Waters, not 100% last week, not 100% today, but he says he's got to go after and make things happen. And on defense, something different today. Inside, Cortez Kennedy and Sam Adams, the 2 tackles, they have a chance to be the difference in the game today. Push the pile, try to get in Dan Marino's face, and make him make some mistakes.
The Miami Dolphins are in the postseason for the 3rd consecutive season. For the Seattle Seahawks, first time since 1988. The winners move on and the losers go home. Starting lineups and the opening kickoff from Seattle right after this.
Dominate on 3. 1, 2, 3, dominate!
The Seattle Kingdome, scheduled for destruction just 2 months from now, but today, a very noisy sight of today's postseason playoff game. Let's check in on the sidelines with Armin Katayan. Armin.
Boy, you bet, Greg. Coach Mike Holmgren told us they had a great week of practice, highlighted on Friday by quite a fight between Sam Adams and one of the centers and the backup on the practice squad. Certainly set the tone for the team. Mike, I'm with Mike Holmgren right now. Mike, certainly put your team in the right frame of mind on Friday with that fight.
I think so, Armin. You know, they love one another, but they got a little cranky, and it was probably something we needed.
Now, as far as this game, the big crowd, the pressure, what did you say to your team to prepare for it?
Well, I just told them it's a new season. A lot of these guys haven't been in the playoffs before. It's going to be a different football game. They have to play their best, but enjoy the experience.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Greg, back to you.
All right, Armin. Jimmy Johnson, head coach of the Miami Dolphins in his 4th year, 3 straight postseason appearances. A look at Cortez Kennedy on the sideline. Mike Holmgren, hired exactly 1 year ago yesterday to run the operation here in Seattle. The Seahawks, AFC Western Division champions, and in the postseason for the first time since '88. Seattle has won the toss. They've elected to receive. Deep are number 28, Kerry Joseph, number 31, Charlie Rogers, and we're underway. Short kick from the 9, it's Rogers. 25, 30, to the 33-yard line. Onto the field comes number 7, John Kitna, the 3rd-year quarterback out of Central Washington. Missed just 1 game this season. You see the touchdown passes, 3rd best in the AFC. A turnaround for him, as for the team, the last 6 games of the season. From the I formation, Ricky Waters gets outside over the 35 to the 37-yard line. A look at the Seattle offensive line. Walter Jones, Pete Kendall, Chris Gray, Brian Habib, and Grant Williams. Ricky Waters and Reggie Brown in the backfield, Derek Mays and Sean Dawkins, the wide receivers, and the tight end is Christian Foria.
Greg, we had a chance on Friday to watch the Seahawks practice in an offense. Of course, they want to keep it balanced, but a lot of plays where they're giving the receivers a chance to make double moves and go deep.
On 2nd and 5, Kintner goes down back at the original line of scrimmage. Rich Owens with 8.5 sacks in the regular season got to him. A look at the Miami starting D. Owens, Bowens, Darrell Gardner, and Jason Taylor up front. The linebackers, Derek Rogers, Pro Bowler Zach Thomas, and Robert Jones. The corners are Patrick Surtain and Sam Madison. The safeties, Brock Marion and Sean Wooden. 3rd and 10. Kitna breaks out, throws, has a man open. Galloway, midfield and into Miami territory for a first down.
The coverage down the field was exceptional by the Miami Dolphins. The problem was the defensive line. They sell out. They don't keep Kitna in the pocket. And watch Joey Galloway. He's covered. He sees Kitna run out. He makes the adjustment. Good play by Joey Galloway. And Mike Holmgren, he wants Joey Galloway to get involved in the passing game more. It hasn't worked that well since he ended his holdout, but that's a good start to the game.
22-yard pickup. Ricky Waters on first down to the 41-yard line. Zach Thomas with the stop. Ricky Waters off of a 5th straight 1,000-yard rushing season in the 6th of his 9-year career. Has been the heart of the ground game, and you see that brace on his right knee. He's been trying to come back from a sprained right knee ligament, and Mike Holmgren liked what he saw in practice this week.
Well, he said he's not 100%, but who cares? You got to go, and you got to make it work.
Waters again, and met just as he crossed the 40-yard line by Zach Thomas. You'd have to say Zach Thomas is already active today.
Well, Zach Thomas is fired up, and I'll tell you a couple reasons why. Because the Dolphins, they're going to try to win this game with their defense. There he is in the middle, does a good job of studying the other team, what they're going to do, stays in position and makes the hit. But he thinks playing the Seattle offense today, a couple things. One, he thinks if they pressure John Kitna, he'll make a mistake, and he says watch the quarterback when he throws. He has a tendency to stare down his receivers.
4 wide receivers on 3rd and 4. Kitna, far side. It is incomplete and almost picked off by number 24, Jerry Wilson.
Well, I got to say, after a few passing plays by the Seahawks, this looks like the Miami defense of old. In the past few weeks, they've been giving up a lot of big passing plays, but so far today, they are running with the receivers all over them. Good job that time by Jerry Wilson.
On Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of the Super Bowl. IBM, are you ready for e-business? And by Budweiser, delivered fresh daily from our local brewery near you.
Back in Seattle, and these beautiful aerial shots of the Kingdome on a great day here in January are provided by Southwest Airlines. From the 47-yard line of the Miami Dolphins, Kitna and the Seahawks back to work. Galloway in motion and Kitna to throw. Time over the middle, Galloway, and that's incomplete. Zach Thomas was there to break it up.
It's broken up by number 54, Zach Thomas.
Well, that's a nice job by Zach Thomas. You see Zach Thomas all the time inside making those tackles, but watch Joey Galloway go up the field, makes the in cut. Good job by Zach Thomas, turning right around at the same time, makes the play. I think that's what makes him a Pro Bowl linebacker, is the fact he can stop the run, but he does such a good job in the passing game covering the middle of the field.
Waters back to the line of scrimmage, and maybe 2 on the play.
You know, Greg, we've had a chance over the last few weeks to talk to the Miami Dolphins, some of their players, and some of their defensive players have said to us, why did we ever change the way we were playing? Basic defense, run the ball on offense. It got them to 8-2. Well, their spirits were lifted this week when Jimmy Johnson came in and told the team, this is how we're going to play this game. Offense, here's what we're going to do. You're not going to be real happy with that, but defense is in your hands, and it really picked up the spirits of all the defensive players.
Zach Thomas was absolutely ecstatic about it last night when the Dolphins arrived. Kitna over the middle. That's complete. Mike Pritchard gets enough for the first down to the 34-yard line.
Well, in football games, there's always you test the other team. So the Miami Dolphins, John Kitna, young quarterback, watch the blitz come from this side. It's picked up. Wide open over the middle. Mike Pritchard. So now the Seahawks have answered one question. We know how to handle that blitz. Do you have any more?
12-yard pickup makes it first down at the 33-yard line of the Dolphins. The fake to Waters, deep and incomplete in the end zone. The pass intended for Sean Dawkins, who was looking for a flag and didn't get one.
Well, there's Mike Holmgren. Greg, we had a chance, and it was kind of exciting. Friday, we got a chance to go in and watch them practice, and we've been to how many practices this year? 20-some. You watch a team. Well, a lot of them, it seems like. But it was, you have to admit, it was different when we watched them practice. The energy, the excitement, and some players being a little testy, too. A fight broke out. Fun to watch.
Kitna rolls this time. Throwing over the middle. Has his man complete. Inside the 25-yard line is Mike Pritchard, and that's another first down.
Well, that's a new play I haven't seen from the Seahawks. This Miami team, they can rush the passer. So give them some different looks. John Kitna rolling out. Look at that. Rich Owens is unblocked, but Mike Pritchard coming across the middle against the grain makes it tough for the defense to cover.
Line of scrimmage is the 16-yard line. And so off the great field position from the punt. Seahawks have moved deep into Miami territory. 13 consecutive scores in the red zone. On the screen, Waters to the 10, to the 8-yard line.
Well, Mike Holmgren, and he runs his so-called West Coast offense. That's what he does. The one thing he likes in it, he likes to throw some screens. That time, 4 receivers were to the right side of the field. The only person to the left was Ricky Waters coming out of the backfield, and only the speed of Miami's defense stopped that from being a touchdown.
As we come up on 2.5, or rather on 7 minutes to play here in the first quarter, this drive chewing up some time. Waters, nowhere to go, no place to turn the corner on the right side as Sean Wooden came up for the stop. One thing that we're used to is we've seen these Seattle Seahawks practice earlier in the year was they practiced with a lot of noise in their bubble, and that was missing on Friday. There's a reason for that. Apparently some of the neighbors of the Seattle Seahawks in Kirkland, Washington.
Yeah, we were out here, I don't know, quite a few weeks ago. The noise was so loud in their bubble. It was, I didn't know if I wanted to go in and watch practice with the noise, and thank God the neighbors complained.
4 wide receivers on third down. Straight drop for Kitna, end zone, touchdown. 9 yards to Sean Dawkins.
Well, Sean Dawkins matched up against Terrell Buckley that time, and Jimmy Johnson says every week, Terrell Buckley, teams are going to pick on him, but that time it wasn't his guy. He lets him go inside. The safety, Brock Marion, lets him run by him before he notices Sean Dawkins coming inside.
Dawkins, 7 touchdown catches on the season. Todd Peterson. Now 33 for 33 on extra points this season. And with 6:18 to play here in the first quarter, Sean Dawkins and the Seattle Seahawks are up 7.
Is sponsored by Cadillac, the power of and, the fusion of design and technology, and by American Express.
Phil, let's go back to the touchdown and see what happened.
Well, let's take a look at the touchdown and see why he was so wide open. Sean Dawkins going to go to the back of the end zone. Watch the safety, Brock Marion. He's occupied by the inside receiver. So now there's nobody back in the middle of the field. Good design and excellent execution by John Kitna.
From the 49-yard line, Dan Marino to throw. That's complete inside the 40 to the 33-yard line is O.J. McDuffie for a first down. 17 yards, and that makes 17 total yards that the Dolphins have in this game now.
Well, getting O.J. McDuffie back in there for Dan Marino, that's that security blanket that all quarterbacks like to have. And we talked to Dan Marino last night about O.J. McDuffie. He says this guy is tough. He's a leader of our offense. He makes plays, and he knows how to run with the football after he makes the catch.
And has been sorely missed the last few weeks. J.J. Johnson across the 30-yard line, stopped by Darren Smith. Johnson, the rookie out of Mississippi State, and the Dolphins' second-round draft choice, has been hampered lately by a hamstring injury.
Well, you look back, one of the reasons why I think the Dolphins have kind of changed, back when they had Cecil Collins and J.J. Johnson, both of them healthy, it was a terrific little duel they had going. And they could run the football hard and then throw it when they wanted to. When the guys got hurt and Cecil Collins got in trouble, it changed his football team.
This time Johnson inside the 25 to the 22. J.J. was about ready to come back a week and a half ago, and then went all out in practice trying to impress his coach. And Jimmy Johnson said, you know, he's got to learn when he can impress me and when he can't, and they lost him, and now J.J. comes trotting off the field.
Well, I got to say this about the Miami Dolphins game plan today. I like what they're going to try to do at the outset in this game. Take the crowd out of it. Run the football. Give your guys up front a chance to make the play.
They have been running the ball 5 out of 6 offensive plays. Marino throws. That's inside the 20-yard line and complete to number 89, the tight end, Ed Perry.
Now, as I say that, you're probably going, well, they had 5 wide receivers. He's in the shotgun field. But the difference is it's first down, trying to catch Seattle off guard. So they're going to mix it up. Basically today, they want to try to be better. They scouted themselves. They need to throw the ball a little more on first down, run it more on second, and even be conservative sometimes and run it on third.
Marino 2 out of 2 for 20 yards. Johnson the lone back behind Marino on 2nd and 7. Johnson. Not much at all. Darren Smith along with help from Philip Daniels.
Now this Seahawk defense, they were confident coming into today's game. 2 guys inside, Cortez Kennedy and Sam Adams. Big, and I'll tell you what, that's a good job of the Miami offensive line getting on those 2. But the problem is you got to double team them. So that frees up the linebackers. But Mike Holmgren said we got to win this game on defense by the play of our defensive line.
Dolphins red zone offense no better than 23rd in the league. 4 wide receivers. Marino needs the 12-yard line for a first down. Time, throws, complete, and that'll be short of a first down. That ball has been whistled down. Tony Martin close to a first down.
Well, he's looked from here. It's a good yard short. I think Jimmy Johnson, he'll play this conservative and kick the field goal.
And just as you say that.
Yep, I'm 0 for 1 for the playoffs. Here we go. I'm really surprised at this. You know, you talk about playing a game, slowing it down, all those types of situations. That means you get a chance to kick a field goal, you take the field goal.
This Miami team has been lacking in confidence. Play clock down to 1, and now Marino has to call a timeout. Clock is stopped with 2:09 to play in the first quarter. They'll talk about it. We'll take this timeout. During the timeout, Jimmy Johnson has changed his mind. Olindo Mare, who set an NFL record with 39 field goals this season, will attempt one from 32 yards out. And it's good. 2:05 to play here in the first quarter. And the Dolphins put 3 on the board. 7-3 Seattle. You think you have a sibling rivalry? How do you think Dolphins quarterback Damon Huard and his brother Seahawks quarterback Brock Huard feel? Find out on NFL.com. Sibling rivalry?
Well, Damon played a little practical joke on his brother Brock this week. Maybe we'll get a chance to tell it later.
Joseph and Rogers. This is Charlie Rogers from the 7. 25, 30, out to the 34, almost the 35-yard line. Dwight Hollier with the tackle, and we go down to Armin Catane.
Thanks, Greg. You know, Sean Dawkins had that first touchdown, but early in the season, he only had 15 catches in the first 5 games. He remembered something that his mother said, Sharon Ray, who died last May at the age of 52 after a long bout of lung cancer. She had raised Sean from the age of 2 all alone. Her last words were to him, keep your head up, don't let things get you down, fight through the adversity. He ends up with 58 catches and a career high 992, a season dedicated to his mother. Greg, back to you.
You bet, Armin. It has been a terrific first season here in Seattle for Sean Dawkins. Ricky Waters, left side, tripped up just across the 30-yard line, and we have a penalty marker down. And we have a player down at the 35.
When you're going against a team like the Dolphins, who are pretty good up front.
Number 63, Frank Beatty, has come onto the field and is inserted into the offensive line. 2nd and 12. Kitna going to come deep down the side. Joey Galloway, and it's incomplete. Terrell Buckley was there, and in fact, Galloway turned into defensive back to break up the interception.
Well, that's something Jimmy Johnson said to us. I kind of said it early on the touchdown. That was not Terrell Buckley's fault. But when he comes up and lines up with the receiver right on the line of scrimmage, everybody, when they throw it down the field, they are going to test Terrell Buckley out first. He has a tendency. Jimmy Johnson says this guy has a tendency to gamble, take chances. That creates big plays over him. But also he said when he's desperate and he is scared, he plays his best. And he said he was scared coming to this game today.
Seahawks looking to go 3 for 3 on 3rd down, scrambling. Kitna looks, throws, complete. Reggie Brown to the 40-yard line, but that's going to be short of a first down.
Short of the first down, and on 4th down and 4 yards to go.
Good job again by the Miami defense. Pressure, Greg. We're coming in today, the wind's blowing, it's chilly, and Greg says, boy, I'm glad the game's inside. Me too.
43 seconds to play here in the first quarter. Pritchett and J.J. Johnson behind Marino, who operates from his own 23. J.J. Johnson across the 25 to the 27-yard line. The kind of production Jimmy Johnson wants to see on first down.
You know, Greg, let's just talk real quick about what Jimmy Johnson, how he's approaching the game. And he outlined it to us last night. And I go, Coach, why did you ever change? You were 8-2. It was working well. You were happy with it. I'd even asked him the questions before. And he says, I don't know. He says, you know, Phil, you sit over there sometimes and you look behind the center, you see Dan Marino. That's the candy store. And it's sweet. And you want some of it. So we let him throw the ball sometimes, too many times, and it cost us. Big mistakes that cost us games.
Johnson, running room across the 30 to the 34-yard line. And as the first quarter winds down, that appears to be enough for a Miami first down. We've played the first 15 minutes of this wild card matchup here in the Seattle Kingdome. Seahawks lead it 7-3. Back for the start of the second quarter. Pretty pictures on the outside, lots of noise on the inside as we start the second quarter. On first down, Marino to throw. Going to throw it down the side. Penalty marker flies as the pass is intended for Tony Martin, and Sean Springs was covering it.
All out blitz by the Seattle Seahawks defense.
Special birthday wish for a special fan, Mama Blue.
Now this is something that's a little different for Miami's offense today. Seeing how the Seahawks blitz.
Holding, defense, number 24, 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Because when they blitz, watch them, here they come, all the linebackers. When they blitz, it's man-to-man coverage down the field. You see Sean Springs, oh, and you can see the hold. He's got that jersey against Tony Martin. But what that means, it lets Dan Marino see the blitz. He can take his time. He knows it's man coverage. He can get rid of the football quick.
Double tight end setup, and the give is to J.J. Johnson across the 45 to about the 46-yard line. I want to remind you, coming up on the NASDAQ Halftime Report, Jim Nance, Craig James, Randy Cross, Jerry Glanville with first half highlights, a complete look at the playoff picture, and an interview with that magical duo from Tennessee, Frank Wycheck and Kevin Dyson, coming up on the NASDAQ Halftime Report.
Hey, Greg, we talked about it during the commercial break. It was a good first quarter for both teams. Seattle because they scored, but really for the Miami Dolphins, they withstood the barrage, the emotional outburst by the Seahawks, and it's only 7-3.
That doesn't get back to the line of scrimmage. J.J. Johnson is stuffed by the charge, led by Cortez Kennedy.
Well, Cortez Kennedy and Sam Adams, two big guys on the inside. Cortez, number 96, coming down the line. Look at that. Just keep hustling, go down the line, follow out your assignment, then you can make plays. This Seahawk defense, it has struggled this year, number 23 in the NFL, because players do not play the system.
You see right there, Cortez Kennedy's first appearance in 10 years. There may not be a more popular figure in Seattle this week than Tez. 4 wide receivers for Dan Marino. Throws complete at midfield to O.J. McDuffie. And that'll be close to a first down.
O.J. helping out. That's nice of him to help the official out. But again, Dan Marino gets the ball. Noise, big pass rush. Get rid of the football quickly, and he finds his man in the middle always, O.J. McDuffie. But Greg, we talk about the noise. If you watched Buffalo and Tennessee play yesterday, Buffalo almost lost the game in the first half just because of crowd noise. You can tell the noise has died down a little in here some. The Dolphins, what they're doing, trying to keep the crowd out of it.
At midfield, Marino with a deep drop, throwing down the middle, has a man open, and it's incomplete. Tony Martin had the secondary beat. And Marino wants a call in the backfield.
Well, Dan Marino said, we're going to take some chances on first down and go down the field. They do it this time, and he has Tony Martin open just about 1 foot too far. Now, Dan Marino, I don't think he saw the ball land. He's going, oh, you're kidding me. It didn't catch it? Because when that football left his hand, a quarterback usually knows that throw was perfect in his eyes.
First incomplete pass thrown by Marino today. Up the middle, J.J. Johnson to the 45. And Darrell Williams with the stop.
But just to go back one more time about the crowd noise, and we talk about Jimmy Johnson, things that you tried to eliminate it with. Run the ball more, slow the game down, don't put your quarterback in a shotgun formation all the time on 3rd and longs, because the defense, they know it's going to be a solid snap, so they watch the center. The center yells to the offensive line, and they go, 1001, go. They don't even have to watch the football, so take away some of the advantages the Seahawks defense has with the crowd noise.
J.J. Johnson cut down at the 45-yard line. Chad Brown and Darrell Williams with the stop, and Miami will be forced to kick.
Now the Dolphins are going to be upset here because they had the perfect play on. The Seahawks come 3 down linemen. When they do that, it's going to be a blitz most time. Look at the blitz. Nobody out there, and all of a sudden the speed catches up, and look at the Dolphin coaches.
Well, the Dolphins have wanted to balance things out today. They have done that. The Seahawks getting all their mileage through the air. Brian Habib is back on the field for the Seahawks and back at his right guard position, number 68. First down for Seattle. Kitten's going to give it to Ricky Waters, running room right side. Ball is loose on the ground, but it is blown down or signaled down, so that's no fumble.
Ruled down, no replay, can't challenge it. But John Kitna changed the play at the line of scrimmage, and it was a good job. Brock Marion comes up and makes the tackle. Ricky Waters succeed, hit, Made him go to the ground. Ball comes out. No fumble.
You know, we were talking about that noise just a little while ago. It was funny. We asked Jimmy Johnson, do you practice with noise? He goes, no, that's annoying.
Oh, that stuff's annoying. My coaches can't coach when I have all that noise piped into my practices. And I agree.
Waters stuffed up by the middle of the Dolphin defense. Rich Owens was there.
Well, see, we're kind of getting back to what we saw earlier in the year with this Miami team. Play a little conservative and safe on offense. Punt it down. Now they got field position on their side. And the defense, of course, can be a little more aggressive, make things happen. And just watch them today. Playoff atmosphere and all that, I know, but the Dolphin defense seems to be reacting and a little faster than I've seen in the last few weeks.
You see how far Kitna has to go for a first down. Quick pass, far side, complete. Pritchard gets out of bounds, but not before he gets the first down.
Well, nice job by John Kitna. Really a good throw. Oh, he picks up a couple yards, but he puts it on the line to the outside shoulder, lets Pritchard catch it and fall forward first for the first down. Now, you know, Kitna's got to be careful. If he keeps throwing to Mike Pritchard, the other receivers are going to get their feelings hurt. And they'll get upset.
On first down, Ricky Waters right up the middle for a couple. And, you know, Mike Holmgren was telling us, yeah, he's got to be wary of these feelings of the wide receivers.
Yeah, he does. If one guy doesn't catch enough passes, they all, well, coach, am I still the man? He goes, you're the man. Just relax. And he says it's really hilarious dealing with them all. If you correct them in practice or yell at them, their feelings get hurt. And he says, hey, look, I still love you. Come on, what are we doing here? So it's really quite funny to listen to the whole scenario, especially how it changed when Joey Galloway came in.
Getting over the middle, complete. Out across the 35 is Reggie Brown out of the backfield, and that's a first down.
Reggie Brown.
Nice job by John Kitna. Good read. Nice short pass. Watch Reggie Brown come out, come underneath the coverage. The tight end goes up the field. Look at that. Clears out the middle. Good timing. You know, it doesn't look like that hard of a throw or nothing special. But the quarterback and the receiver, you got to be like a machine when you do those type of plays, because any type of mistake, ball goes in the air, it's going to be intercepted.
Joey Galloway back on the field now. Kitna with all kinds of time and throws down the middle and overthrows everyone except Brock Marion. Marion back to the 20, the 30, the 40, and out of bounds.
Well, John Kitna, I was going to say, first playoff game, who wants to hear that cliche? He can't deal with the pressure and all that, but this was not a good decision. Just an excellent job by Brock Marion chasing the long pass down. Dolphins football.
NFL on CBS is sponsored by American General Financial Group. Live the life you've imagined. 10-10-220. And by Original Coors. Expect more from an original. Original Coors.
Back in Seattle a few moments ago, wouldn't you have liked to have heard part of that conversation?
Well, it looks pretty controlled. I think John Kitna says it all. I believe, watching the play when he first let it go, he was probably just trying to throw the football away, but man, these NFL defensive backs, they can run. And Brock Marion made a really wonderful catch on the interception.
Just under 8.5 minutes to play. Marino to throw, and it is incomplete. Intended for Stanley Pritchard out of the backfield. Let's go back to the interception.
Well, let's just take a look at it and see what happens. Here's Sean Dawkins at the top. Watch Brock Marion. He's the one that makes the interception. Good position, really good position by the defensive back staying underneath the receivers. And man, he is flying. Makes a one-handed catch with his right hand. Watch this.
Oh, that's a great job by Brock Marion.
Very nice. John Kitna has a strong arm, but could not throw the coverage.
On second down, the screen. J.J. Johnson tripped up and falls down back at the 37-yard line.
Losing 4 yards, brought to the 37.
Cortez Kennedy being disruptive as usual.
Well, the defensive line and the fact that J.J. Johnson probably not 100%, just tough to execute these plays sometimes, and I cannot see him being tripped. Looks like the AstroTurf just got him.
Well, there's nothing like being sore and having not played much, and then Cortez Kennedy and all 310 pounds of him landing on you. Here comes the crowd. Marino over the middle, incomplete. They're looking for a penalty marker, which doesn't come. Darrell Williams, number 33, appeared to hit McDuffie long before the ball got there.
Well, I thought he got there a little early, and let's watch it as he comes across the middle. Nice route, and the hit. Well, I'll tell you this. Watch Darrell Williams. He goes in the front. He's making a play for the football. That's a good no call.
Hunt lofts this one to Charlie Rogers from the 15. Oh, and is decked just as he crossed the 20-yard line. Robert Jones, number 52, just put the wood to it. 8-yard return. Tonight on CBS. You may have guessed I just threw that in.
Yeah, you ad-lib. Is that what they call that?
I think so.
That was a wonderful job.
On first down, Kitna spins away from the rush and throws incomplete out here to the near side. Zach Thomas, who told us last night he'll be doing a little more blitzing than he normally does.
Yeah, Zach had that little smile on his face last night. We're going to play some defense, and yeah, I'm going to blitz up the middle on Kitna. Let's watch him as he comes up. Zach Thomas, 54, picks the right hole. Oh, Ricky Waters misses him, and he's going to be upset at the fact that he missed a good shot on John Kitna.
Yep, you can tell. 2nd and 10. This time the give is to Waters, and Zach Thomas catches up with him at about the 29-yard line.
Well, it's a good job by Seattle. They spread the field out, 4 wide receivers, and again, this play works. Watch Ricky Waters. He goes up inside, then breaks out because you got a defensive line just playing pass defense, trying to get to the quarterback. But here's what saves it. Number 54. The one thing about Zach Thomas I've noticed from his rookie year to now, he has gotten faster as a middle linebacker, makes more plays close to the line of scrimmage.
Miami defense has held opponents to an NFL low 29% on 3rd down attempts. Kitna with time to throw and then goes down. Trace Armstrong, number 93, 7.5 sacks on the season, led the charge.
Trace Armstrong, one of the most consistent defensive linemen maybe in the league. Just every week, only comes in on passing situations, but just constantly pushes the pocket, puts pressure on the quarterback. The numbers almost lie because he only plays on 3rd downs, but he does a terrific job for this defense.
Nate Jacquette standing back near his 25-yard line. Fiegels barely gets it away. Jacquette will watch it bounce and then pick it up at the 27. Across the 30 to the 33-yard line. And James Logan with the top.
46-yard punt.
Jeff Fiegels, longtime punter. You think he knows the pressure's coming? Oh, you betcha.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by DirecTV. What are you looking at? And by Staples, the official office supply provider of the NFL.
These great aerial shots of the Kingdome provided today by Southwest Airlines. Dan Marino, 5 out of 8 for 28 yards so far this afternoon. We have just under 6 minutes to play in the first half. Seahawks, 7-3. Johnson to the 36-yard line. We were talking during the timeout, Phil. Do you think Jimmy Johnson is happy about the way things are going today?
He is really happy. The only thing that would made him happier, of course, they've been so close to making some big plays on special teams, but he's done what he wanted on offense. Run it, control it, do this, and then every once in a while you take that chance down the field. They have had 2 chances for big pass plays. They missed them both so far.
13 runs to 8 passes as Johnson gets back to what was successful. JJ across the 40 to the 41, maybe the 42-yard line. It'll be 3rd and about a yard.
Now you talk about this, I can't help but watch Dan Marino. He came in here last night. We talked to him, and You know, it wasn't like a happy situation because I think he knows what he's dealing with here today. And he says playing quarterback with the style that they're going to play today, he looked at me and he goes, you know it's hard. And I said, I know it is, but you got to do what's best for your team to give it its best chance to win. And that is taking no chances and just waiting for that opportunity.
Double tight end and Marino to throw. That is incomplete. Hit a defender in the back. Darren Smith, the linebacker.
Well, they're lucky there. I say it all the time. When that football goes up in the air, as a quarterback, just start trotting towards the sideline because you're going to be making a tackle on an interception. But Sean Springs right in front of the receiver. I'm sorry, it's Darren Smith.
So Charlie Rogers returned a punt 94 yards against Pittsburgh earlier this season. Going to let it bounce inside the 20. And that's where the Dolphins will down the football. And back onto the field comes John Kitna.
Well, I'd like to have a little monitor on John Kitna while he was warming up today. What do you think his heart was beating?
About the same way it was when he came in to talk to us on Friday.
That's right. He was pretty excited on Friday, man. He was fired up because he should be. I tell you, first-year starter, he did it all this year. It went well. They won some games. He played bad. They started losing. The fans booed him. Then towards the end of the season, he started regaining his confidence, playing well again. In the playoffs, what a great learning experience for a first-year quarterback.
Double tight end, the pitch to Waters. Waters across the 20 to about the 21-yard line. And let's check in with Armin Katayan. Armin.
Hey, Greg, you know, John Kitna, you talk about this rebirth he had. You know, early in the season, he had a terrible game against Tampa Bay, 5 interceptions, 19 of 44. In the middle of the next game, in the Oakland game, he had really what it would be a rebirth. He's sitting there, he goes, you know what, my career cannot go like this. I cannot continue. Throw the ball the way I'm throwing it. I have to learn to trust myself. He remembered something his dad told him. He said, always stick with what got you there. Just live with what you see on the field. And that's really helped him late in the season. There he goes. Right back to you.
And right out close to the 30-yard line, close to a first down, is Sean Dawkins, and he appears to have it.
That was a nice throw by John Kitna and a nice catch by Sean Dawkins. And when you watch Sean Dawkins, if you follow the NFL really close, you know this guy's bounced around a little in the last few years. And I even said to Mike Holmgren Friday, I said, Sean Dawkins has got to be one of the great surprises for you and this football team. And he agreed. He said, absolutely. He's come in. He looks trimmer to me, more explosive down the field, and just playing his role exceptionally well.
First down for Seattle. Sean Dawkins spent his first 5 years with the Indianapolis Colts and then last season with New Orleans. This is his first year here in Seattle, and it's been a successful one, as Armin said earlier. 58 catches, just under 1,000 yards, 8 yards shy of it, and 7 touchdown catches. First down for Kitna and the Seahawks. Waters. And Waters gets nowhere. Tim Bowen stuffing up the middle. You know, I thought it was interesting. We were talking about John Kitna and Armin talking about the way he has gone about things. He had a first game outing. He's Mike Holmgren's starting quarterback. And then you asked him how he thought his season has gone. And when he had to sit out that second game due to injury, it killed him on the sideline.
Well, sure. First time started, and then Glenn Foley comes in the second game, pulls it out for him. They beat the Chicago Bears, so he's worried about his job. But you know what? He dealt with adversity. Armin is right. You're going to face tremendous adversity as a quarterback. The question is, can you come back from it? He has.
Kitna throws out this side. Waters all by himself to the 40. Out of bounds at the 44-yard line, and a penalty marker is down. Sam Madison is the man who ran him out of bounds.
That's just uncalled for the Miami's defense to react that way.
Personal foul. Defense, number 29, unnecessary roughness. Late hit out of bounds.
Pro Bowl cornerback Sam Madison.
Automatic first down.
Ricky Waters gets that straight arm out there into the face mask. That's probably what upsets Sam Madison. Then he grabs his face mask doesn't let go, well, you're not going to win that battle. But what got me, Jon Kitna looks right, and Greg, everybody's on the right side of the field. Ricky Waters swings out of the backfield. How did he find him? You know, that's just good coaching, awareness, knowing where your receivers are, and he finds him at the last second for a big gain.
First down from the Miami 41. Waters again. Across the 35 and out of bounds.
Well, one of the problems this Miami Dolphin defense has had the last 6 to 8 weeks, not playing as well, is that teams are running the ball to the outside. And you think, well, how can you run the ball to the outside if they're so fast? Well, I'll give you a good reason why. The corners not doing a good enough job coming up the line of scrimmage, making those tackles, stopping those long runs.
You look at the numbers on Ricky Waters. If we pause for the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes to play here in the first half. The Seahawks with a 7-3 lead on Miami and driving for more. Wychik and Kevin Dyson coming up on the NASDAQ halftime report. Ricky Waters to the 31. And Zach Thomas in the middle of that tackle.
The one thing I'm noticing at the Miami front four, the defensive line and the linebackers, if they can continue to hold their own, the defensive backs now can stay back off the line of scrimmage more and stop the big pass plays down the field. Because when Miami brings that safety up and tries to stop a running game, what has happened in this losing streak, when they're not playing as well, is that everybody is trying to make big plays against their corners. And, you know, no matter how good you are, you keep putting them out there one-on-one, even a bad set of receivers is going to make some plays on you.
Measurement for a first down. And the Seahawks are that short. With 1:41 to play here in the first half, how important is this drive by the Seahawks, Phil?
Well, it's important for them just to, I think, regain their confidence with their offense a little. It was staggering there a little after that touchdown drive, but some big plays. Jon Kitna coming back from the interception. Well, he has been solid in his decision-making so far today, except for just overestimating the strength of his arm, trying to throw one away, I think.
Clock is on the move again. You look at how Seattle has done on third down conversions on third and short. Waters. And Waters is tackled back of the line of scrimmage by Sean Wooden.
Well, this is how this defense is built. When you make their corners tackle, that's tough against you. What they're supposed to do, watch Sean Wooden come up. The safeties are usually the ones that are the force. In other words, they're going to be on the outside of the formation trying to make the plays, and look at that tackle by Sean Wooden.
Todd Peterson has come on. Peterson was 34 out of 40 in the field goal department. This one will be a 50-yarder. He has kicked a 51-yarder this year. And before he gets a chance to kick it, Seattle calls timeout.
Well, I think Mike Holmgren's might change his mind. That's what I see Jon Kitna and them yelling for a timeout. Either that or he doesn't like. No, there's 11 guys on the field goal team there.
Each team with 2 timeouts remaining and having conversations now. Jon Kitna has cocked his helmet back.
Well, I guess, and also I see Pete Rodriguez, the special teams coach there. And I think Mike Holmgren was just trying to get some confirmed, can this guy make it from 50 yards? That's what he wants to do.
What were we talking with Mike Holmgren about on Friday? Have you ever faked a punt or a field goal in your life? And he says, I never have.
No.
But they practice it all the time.
He said, if I ever lost a game because of one of my special teams calls, he goes, I wouldn't sleep for a month. So don't look for any fake here.
From 50 yards. Oh, he got a lot of foot into that. Todd Peterson from 50 yards out is good, and 3 more on the board for the Seahawks. They stretch their lead to 10-3.
Well, Todd Peterson, he knew he was right on that verge, 50 yards. But the one thing, it's in a dome, and so 50 yards, I always equate it to about a 43 to 45-yard field goal. And now he feels a little better. Second-guessed himself a for a little bit over there on the sidelines, but came to a good decision.
You know what? One of those situations where both teams come out of that. You saw Jimmy Johnson clapping his hands on the sidelines at 3rd and inches, and with the Seahawks bearing in on the red zone, he's happy to get out of here with just 3 points.
Well, Greg, that's why the Dolphins have won so many close, low-scoring games. Their defense, it will bend sometimes, but in the red zone or inside the 30-yard line, those type of things, they have been spectacular. So, you know, that saves them. Instead of giving up 7, they're giving up those 3s.
If the Seahawks win today, they move on to Indianapolis next week, and Tennessee plays at Jacksonville. If Miami wins, then the Dolphins are in Jacksonville, and Tennessee plays the Colts in Indianapolis next weekend.
Well,
49-yard drive, Peterson's 50-yard field goal. Brock Marion, Jerry Wilson deep for Miami. This will be Marion from the 5. Hit as he crosses the 20 and will get no further than the 24-yard line. And again, Joey Elam's, who has been a special team performer today for the Seahawks, makes the stop.
40 seconds remaining in the first half.
Dan Marino, 5 of 9 for 28 yards, and you say, well, that is just terrible, but it really isn't. Let's look at it. 10-3 here in this dome, traveling across the country. As Jimmy Johnson says, where are we, Moscow? After we got off the plane yesterday, but they've controlled the situations pretty well. Just make sure you don't make a big mistake here at the end of the first half.
Marino has 40 seconds and 2 timeouts. Steps up, pulls it down, and is wrapped up inside the 20-yard line. Sam Adams and Michael Sinclair had their arms around it.
I'll tell you what, about last week or all the previous weeks before that, Dan Marino would have let that ball go. And that would have been an interception most likely in the middle of the field. Nobody was open, but practicing a certain way during the week, something inside of him kept him from throwing that football, and it was a good sack.
Going to hand it off this time to Stanley Pritchett out to about the 23-yard line. The clock moves down. 9 pass attempts for Dan Marino in the first half a couple of years ago would have been unthinkable. Not today.
Well, they got to go into halftime. Both teams feeling pretty good about what they've done, how they've orchestrated the games, and
let's check in with Armin Katayan. Armin.
Thanks, Greg. Coach, even down by 7, you've got to be happy the way this game is setting up for you.
Well, you know, we've said all along we're going to try to win it in the fourth quarter, and you know we had bad field position to start the game off, and that's how they got their touchdown. Then we had a 15-yard penalty on the field goal they got. So, yeah, I think we're still in good shape. We just got to keep mixing it up.
All right, thanks, Coach. Greg?
All right, Armin, our halftime score. The Seahawks 10 and the Dolphins 3 coming up. Jim Nance in New York with a NASDAQ halftime report. Jim, Randy, Craig, and Jerry with first half analysis. All the news and an interview with Tennessee's Frank Wycheck and Kevin Dyson. All coming up after these messages from your local station.
Fellas, right now, Seattle's offense is trying to throw the ball deep down the middle of the field. So Miami's defense is really trying to get back, especially the linebackers. This is Zach Thomas right here. What he has done is he's getting back into this big pocket here. He's getting deeper than normal. That means Seattle's got to come out of the backfield, I think, and get Ricky Waters involved with that. They can run draws. John Kitna has got to be disciplined. This offense has to take advantage of what Miami's defense is doing. If they're going to drop and take away the deep ball down the middle, which Seattle has run, they got to take advantage of it. And you know,
Deshaun Dawkins.
I want the ball.
CBS Sports presentation of the NASDAQ Halftime Report is sponsored by the NASDAQ Stock Market.
The countdown begins. It's our time. Let's go. Let's get this party started. The countdown begins. The NFL playoffs. One glittering goal. The NFL playoffs. One glittering goal. The NFL playoffs.
He's Mike Holmgren of the Seattle Seahawks.
I have always been on the NFL United Way team. It's the one team where winning is measured in our own neighborhoods, our schools, and in the lives of our children and families, working to build a safer, healthier community. That's a victory we all want to be part of.
NFL, United Way, and you.
The power of teamwork.
CBS Sports presentation of the NASDAQ Halftime Report is sponsored by the NASDAQ Stock Market.
At halftime here in Seattle, the Seahawks with a 10-3 lead on the Miami Dolphins. It's been a Dolphin defense that for the most part has been tough when it's had to be. But Seattle has gotten just enough scoring. A touchdown and a field goal to make Mike Holmgren happy. CBS Sports coverage of the NFL continues after a word from your local station. Another half to be played before Wildcard weekend is complete. The weekend has seen Washington, Tennessee, and Minnesota advance, and now Miami and Seattle trying to decide the fourth team to come out of this weekend victorious. What's the difference in this game so far?
Well, so far, how about this? John Kitna, I think he's the difference. He's played well, made good decisions, and thrown the football down the field very well. So that's why Seattle's leading 10-3.
John Kitna on the sideline. It'll be Miami getting the football first. Brock Marion and Jerry Wilson are deep for the kick. 10-3 is our halftime score. And this one's sailing down and out of bounds inside the 10-yard line. Phil Simms shaking his head.
Oh, let's take a look as he goes to the sideline and what Mike Holmgren. Yep, he's
40-yard line. First down.
Because field position, Greg, we've seen the game, the pace of it. Field position is so important. Now the Dolphins starting on the 40-yard line.
So Dan Marino comes out.
As I look at the Miami offense, you think, well, they got 3 points, 28 yards passing, not much happening. But I thought they had about 3 or 4 chances to make big plays down the field. They missed every one of them.
From the 40-yard line. Marino over the middle, wide open is O.J. McDuffie. And McDuffie just across midfield. That'll be enough for a first down. A look at the halftime statistics will show probably not a whole lot that's surprising.
Not much. Seattle, you can see they had more yards. They moved it better. They looked better on offense. But again, Miami. That's the one thing they can look at. No turnovers.
First down for Marino, and the handoff is to J.J. Johnson, wrapped up by Sam Adams. Way back at the beginning of the game, we told you that Sam Adams helped precipitate a bit of a scuffle in practice.
Watch Sam Adams, 98. He's big, he's fast, he's mobile. It really, sometimes I wonder why he's not more of a dominant player than he is. And we watched him on Friday, Greg. You're right, at practice, and it slowly was building up, and we kept watching, and we were smiling because the fight did occur, and because Sam Adams was just going a little too full speed on a Friday afternoon for his teammates.
On 2nd and 13, Marino with time has his man over the middle, and that's tight end Hunter Goodwin, who is ridden out of bounds at about the 48-yard line.
Well, the middle of the field, it looks like it's open for the Miami Dolphins. Chances for the wide receiver, tight ends, running back. Anybody can go out there. They're going to have a lot of space. And Jimmy Johnson, what he's arguing about, O.J. McDuffie was at the bottom of the field, and he was definitely getting held. But since the football didn't come his way, no flag was thrown.
The ball at the 47-yard line. Marino throws, has a man wide open. Inside the 30 is McDuffie, and McDuffie to the 20 and a first down.
Well, this is a play the Dolphins run almost every single week, but this time it has a little added dimension to it. It looks like Dan Marino's going to throw it right there. There it is, Tony Martin, but this time O.J. McDuffie sneaks down the sideline, gets wide open.
On the previous play, Jimmy Johnson was yelling about this.
Now, why would he be upset over that?
5 wide receivers for Marino. Quick pass, far side, complete. Inside the 15 and out of bounds is Tony Martin.
And that's what that's designed to do. Go with 5 wide receivers or 5 players who spread the field. One of them is Robert Conrad, a fullback. But to catch Seattle off guard, let Dan Marino in the offense pick up some cheap yards so Seattle can't, react to it.
That's a formation we haven't seen as often as we might normally. Jimmy Johnson saying that they wanted to cut things down this week.
Yeah, he cuts it down because they were making a lot of bad plays on third down with those wide receivers. He wanted to get rid of those.
J.J. Johnson stacked up at the line of scrimmage. And Cortez Kennedy was right up there to make the stop.
Now see, when you get in situations like this, it's third down, 4 or 5 yards, down inside trying to score. That's where your offense has to be creative. In other words, you do it with formations. You do what you got to do. Move the quarterback to give yourself a chance just to make a play by the play. Don't expect the quarterback and the receiver just to get it done.
Miami 2 out of 7 on third down attempts today. Throws out here in the flat. J.J. Johnson cuts it back inside. First down and more. Inside the 10-yard line. It'll be first and goal for the Miami Dolphins.
Inside the 10 to the 8-yard line.
Well, what the Miami Dolphins did, now they tried to confuse the defense, and they look at this, 3 receivers in a pack. The Seattle Seahawks drop back, and Dan Marino said, if you're going to drop back, let me get it to J.J. Johnson. And this is what's got to happen in these situations. A running back or receiver, you got to make somebody miss, pick up some extra yards and get the first down.
First and goal from the 8. Johnson following a block to the 5-yard line before Chad Brown makes the stop.
Wow, Chad Brown, 94. He is playing with a full tank of gas, I guess you would say. He has been everywhere today. Just flying across the formations, outside, good read, gets around his old man, and stops the runner dead in his tracks.
Chad Brown telling us on Friday, he's been as frustrated about the up and down nature of this team. He said, I just don't know which team is going to show up today. Johnson to the 2. Is there some head knocking going on?
Well, I tell you, it's playoffs. You hear it all the time. The one thing I'll say, a couple things. Tough play by the Seattle Seahawks defense, but J.J. Johnson is running hard.
10th play of the drive. It'll get noisy on third and goal.
Almost doubled their output just in this drive alone.
Marino looks to throw it. Touchdown. Penalty marker flies. Oronde Gadsden with the catch.
What a throw by Dan Marino. When you get a chance.
Illegal use of the hands to the face, defense number 24. A penalty is declined. Touchdown.
Watch Dan Marino throw this football. As a quarterback, you can spot the open receiver sometimes, but he drops down to the side and has to throw through 2 defenders who are raising their arms and still gets it into Oronde Gadsden.
The extra point is good. With 8:55 to play, Dolphins come back to tie. Dan Marino, career touchdown, number 421, number 31 in the postseason.
Audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
In their continuing effort to mix things up, the Dolphins threw more than they ran on that drive, and Dan Marino was a perfect 6 out of 6. Rodgers and Kerry Joseph, and this will be Charlie Rodgers, lost the handle, picked it up, 20, 25, 30, and here he goes. Olindo Mare to beat. Charlie Rodgers with the touchdown. That little drop of the football probably helped him with the oncoming Dolphins.
Sometimes it throws off the timing of the team running down trying to make the tackle, and that time the Dolphins seemed to almost stop, and when they stop, Charlie Rogers, you see the quickness and the speed, he takes advantage of it.
Todd Peterson. The Seahawks answer right back. Charlie Rogers, a 94-yard punt return during the season, 93 yards on the kickoff return here today.
Hi, I'm Dan Marino of the Miami Dolphins. The NFL and the United Way are making a difference. The NFL, the United Way, and you. The power of teamwork.
You are watching CBS Sports.
Olaf Pavel has a second green
Home of the Masters.
Dan Marino throws a touchdown pass to pull the Dolphins even, and just like that, Charlie Rogers with an 85-yard kickoff return puts the Seahawks back up 17-10. Now from the 30, J.J. Johnson to about the 33-yard line. There's special teams coach Pete Rodriguez of the Seahawks. And he's as proud as can be of Charlie Rogers.
Well, watch this hop the football takes. It looks like it's going to hang on the ground. It's going to be falling. All of a sudden it pops up, and Charlie Rogers, you got to be impressed how quick and how fast he is once he gets going.
First kickoff or punt return in postseason history for the Seahawks. Meanwhile, that's out close to a first down for J.J. Johnson and the Miami Dolphins.
Now, I'd been sitting up here in the booth telling Greg as this game was going on, what was I saying? The Dolphins special team.
Oh,
you,
me.
Yeah,
oh.
you. Who else is there? and I was telling you, you keep looking because the Dolphins special teams is about ready to break this game open. They were so close to making big plays, making big hits and all that, and look what happens. You let down for 1 second, the whole game gets turned around because your special teams let down.
First down from the 40. Marino to throw. Going to throw far down the right sideline, and it's incomplete. Intended for Tony Martin. Willie Williams was with him, and we check in with Armin Katayan.
Thanks, Greg. One of the things that Mike Holmgren had said at halftime, he had hoped to ride the defensive intensity and this crowd to a win in the second half. But as he was walking away, he said, hey, Armin, you know what? A really big play would help, too. Well, he just got that. Back to you.
It's okay. Even a coach can beg and hope for good things. But when you talk about scoring, you know, I learned that a lot last week. We had a chance to talk to Norv Turner. And when you try to score a lot of points in the game, it's going to come down to one thing. You got to make a lot of big plays. You can't consistently drive a football down the field and score in the National Football League.
Marino, incomplete, right through the hands of Tony Martin. And you know what? Tony Martin had room to run.
He did. The one problem could be is that Dan Marino really watches football as he throws it. He rears back and he lets it go. And that's just not a gimme. But he knows it's a play to be had. Probably a 15 to 20-yard pickup, and they missed it again.
So now the Dolphins faced with a 3rd and 10, and the hostile crowd gets even more hostile. Going long down the sideline, and it's incomplete. Tony Martin, the intended receiver, Willie Williams with the cover.
Number 27, Willie Williams, with a pass defense. It's 4th down, 10 yards to go for the Dolphins.
Something different this past time by the Seattle defense.
Number 31, Charlie.
He wants that interception, or he's just glad it's incomplete. But the Seahawks dropped back. They were going to stop any long passes that time.
Charlie Rogers is deep. This is Rogers at the 12. Shakes a tackler and tripped up by the second. That second tackler is Sean Wooden. 6:53 to play, 3rd quarter.
Wants to be a millionaire? Donald Trump. And wants to be president, too. Tuesday at 9, 8 Central.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by NASDAQ, the stock market for a digital world, and by Acura. Cars are our passion, engineering is our art.
First and 10 series
Welcome back to Seattle Kingdome, along with Phil Simms and Armin Katayan and our ace CBS Sports crew, Greg Gumbel. John Kitna to throw. And is back to the 7-yard line. Zach Thomas coming after the quarterback again.
Well, we talked about, Zach Thomas said, we're going to blitz up the middle some. Here he comes, 54. And just a good job of timing the blitz. And that's what blitzing is about. Can you time it just right to surprise the offensive players so you can get there before they can react to it? And Zach Thomas has done it perfectly 2 times.
7 tackles and 1 quarterback Zach for number 54.
Well, you're clever. You really are. It's just a pleasure to work with you.
2nd and 19. Kitna from his goal line throws complete to the 10. Christian Foria out across the 15. Foria, the tight end, who caught 35 balls, but no touchdown passes over the regular season.
Well, what happens when you're a tight end on this team? Mike Holmgren has built so many of the pass plays around the 3-4 wide receivers that he has. It's hard to find the football down the field if you play in the tight end position.
4 passes for first downs for John Kitna today. Screen over the middle falls incomplete. Reggie Brown, his intended receiver. And so a pretty good stand by the Miami defense.
Nice series by the Miami defense is right, Greg. Put the pressure on the Seattle offense. Blitzed a couple times. Seattle was not ready for it and did not react very good to it.
Now let's see what Miami special teams comes up with. They have been very, very close on a couple of occasions today. John Kitna on the sideline, almost identical numbers. Well, they are identical as far as attempts and completions. Kitna with a little more yardage and a pick. Marino from the 36. J.J. Johnson. No, make it Autry Denson. Denson across midfield. Autry Denson, who had an outstanding game filling in for J.J. Johnson last week against Washington. 21 carries for 80 yards, makes his first appearance today, a big one.
Nice change of pace. When you bring him in, he's not going to break a lot of tackles. He will run hard, but as Jimmy Johnson, he said to us last night, this guy's got a little wiggle to him, so he can make people miss, and when there's a hole there, he can get to it quick and get those positive yards.
17-yard gain for Denson. And he gets the handoff again. And look at this. Inside the 40 to the 36-yard line. And that'll be another first down.
Yeah, there's a good example, Greg. Watch as he goes to his left, Autry Denson. Watch as he goes to his left, and just this little move at the end. Boom, back to the right. There it is. Big hole. That went from like a 3-yard gain to a long gain just because he was able to slide to his right and keep going forward.
Autry Denson, the rookie out of Notre Dame, gets his 3rd straight carry. And reality sets in here.
Well, he's tired. Can't overuse him. He's a little guy. But what did Jimmy Johnson say? Maybe the good thing that happened to him last week, J.J. Johnson's hurt. The running back situation was bad. They stick Autry Denson in there, and against the Washington Redskins, he was terrific. Ran hard, made plays, and the Dolphins found him a backup running back.
Denson 3 times for 29 yards. The pitch for Denson. Cuts it back inside, but nothing there. Lamar King, Chris Canty in on the stop for the Seahawks.
Well, the Dolphins are actually trying to run a play that they've picked up from other people who have been running against the Seattle defense. Again, twice. They're blitzing. It's the perfect time to pitch it and go wide. They are just not getting any blocks on the perimeter to give the running back a chance.
Marino needs the 26-yard line for a first down. At this distance, the Dolphins are 0 for 3. Marino, time, throws, complete to Conrad, but he'll be short of the first down.
Big completion, though. It lets the Miami Dolphins get in position to at least try a field goal. That's why Dan Marino had to be a little patient and be conservative. Don't try to pick up the first down. Get those yards and let the machine come in and kick it.
Olindo Mare 39 field goals in the regular season, 144 points. Second to Mike Vanderjagt of the Colts by 1 for the scoring lead in the NFL. This is from 51 yards out. His long this season, 54. Oh, look at the distance.
No, it doesn't make a difference kicking inside, does it? It really
With
doesn't.
room to spare, Orlando Mari puts 3 more on the board for Miami. And it's now a 17-13 Seattle lead.
I mean, this was easy. He didn't even press, didn't put any extra effort into it.
You know, Phil, he must have a machine in his head that makes him kick field goals.
Yeah, he does. No, it's in his foot. That's what it does, and he's had a terrific year. And listen, the Miami Dolphins are in this playoff game today and in the playoffs period because of their kicker. He was the main reason they won so many games this year.
2:22 to play here in the third. We remind you, coming up Friday on CBS, action, romance, adventure. TV Guide says now and again, puts it all together and adds up to one of the smartest shows on television. And all new now and again, Friday on CBS.
Well, the Dolphins, the offense, it is alive again. 2 series in the second half, touchdown and a field goal.
Jimmy Johnson says we had a good week of practice, and their main thrust was to focus on one play at a time and not to focus on the scoreboard.
Yeah, tell your players, do your job for this play. Don't think about winning and losing. And of course, that's easy to say, hard to do, but it's a great message. Just focus on the play. We never know. Those players don't know what the most important play of this game it's going to be. So if you let down, they let down on a kickoff, what happens?
Onside kick, popped up in the air, loose ball. The Dolphins say they have it.
Did they get it before it went out of bounds? Yes. How about this? Jimmy Johnson. It's unbelievable. Not afraid to take chances. And all this is just 50-50.
Was legally touched and recovered by Miami. First down.
Sean Wooden, the man on the football.
Greg, they're one of the few teams. Watch this kickoff. Watch, he just kicks it right down to the ground. Look how high it goes. Man, that went high. And Sean Wooden, what a catch on the sidelines. Gets it before it goes out of bounds. But see, they do this at home sometimes, but here on the AstroTurf, that ball had to go 15 yards up in the air. That enables the Miami Dolphin players to get down there, disrupt it, and make the play.
J.J. Johnson and Stanley Pritchett in the backfield. And J.J. is wrapped up behind the 40-yard line. Chad Brown. And a penalty marker is down.
Well, Matt LeBounty, number 99. I couldn't see who he was fighting with. Hunter Goodwin.
And Dan Marino right in on the conversation.
Well, this could be a big penalty.
Here's Tony Correnti.
At the conclusion of the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 83 offense, 15-yard penalty, repeat, first down.
That's not going to please that man.
Well, you just risked maybe the football game with an onside kick, and now you get a 15-yard penalty. Here we go. See if we can see it. Plays over. Well, we missed it. Probably a little punch went on after that. You take a big gamble, now you get the ball on the 24-yard line.
First and 29. Marino has a man wide open. It's McDuffie. McDuffie out of bounds, close to the 45-yard line, and the Dolphins get a chunk of it right back.
Well, this is the play that every team in the National Football League runs. O.J. McDuffie comes in motion. Here he comes across. You can see the receiver on the left was clearing it out, and the Seattle defense the play action fake. Nobody underneath to stop the wide receiver from coming across and catching that pass.
So now a second and more reasonable 8 yards to go for a first down. J.J. Johnson. Michael Sinclair makes the stop at about the 48-yard line.
Well, Greg, the Dolphins have been so close today in so many plays, but then see if they can overcome the personal foul here. But the other personal foul, Sam Madison had, that might have led to a field goal. So getting the opportunities to make the plays, not doing it, and then really making some bad decisions as a person on the field.
Dan Marino having trouble hearing the call from the sideline. The play clock is now down to 10. 2-1, and he gets the play off in time. Throwing to the far side, up in the air, and incomplete. Aronde Gadsden, the intended receiver, Willie Williams, right there with it.
Well, this thing, the whole play, snapping the ball at the very last second. Nice play by Aronde Gadsden, stopping the interception.
Charlie Rogers is deep for the punt. And this will sail down to the 5, takes a sideways bounce, and is down at the 5-yard line. Terrific kick by Tom Hutton. While we have a moment, CBS Sportsline will deliver the latest sports news and information to you via email every morning. Sign up today at cbs.sportsline.com or on America Online. Enter keyword CBS Sportsline.
Big series here for both teams. The Miami defense, it dominated Seattle's offense last series. Can they keep them pinned down and give the ball back to Miami's offense? If they stop them right here, they're going to get the ball on the 50-yard line or inside.
1st and 5. The Seahawks, no yards here in the third quarter. Straight ahead does no good for Ricky Waters.
But see, they got what is called these 85 hidden yards that led to a touchdown. So it's a little misleading. You know, you got to look at those special team yards too. They're as important as offensive yards.
And they'll change ends of the stadium. That's the end of the third quarter here in Seattle with the score. The Seahawks 17 and the Dolphins 13. We'll come back to the Kingdome after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. On this last day of Wildcard weekend, the last game, we welcome you back to Seattle and to the Kingdome. As we start the fourth quarter, the Seattle Seahawks with a 17-13 lead on the Miami Dolphins. The Seahawks with the football deep in their own territory. I'm sorry, Phil.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Greg. I just want to see if Miami is going to continue to try to pressure the offense and John Kitna. Here they come.
On the blitz, Kitna eludes, throws down the sideline, and there's a penalty marker. Patrick Surtain grabbed onto Sean Dawkins.
Boy, you're talking about being in position to make so many plays today, and the Dolphins are not doing it.
Pass interference, defense, number 23, automatic, first down.
Now you got Zach Thomas coming on the blitz inside. You know they're coming inside. Who is outside to keep the quarterback from moving? Then you see Patrick Surtain down the field. Look, he's a defensive back. They know they got the all-out blitz. He's expecting the throw on time. They gave John Kitna an extra second. That caused the penalty.
Ricky Waters looks for running room and none there. Maybe a yard to the 30-yard line. Surtain with the 2 calls against him against the Redskins last week.
And the Redskins, what they did against him last week, they went down, made the out and up, the in, fake going inside and going long. And that's what the defensive backs for the Dolphins, they're susceptible to those type of plays because they're taught to be aggressive, go for the first move. They're going to give up some big plays if you do that.
Kitna. Little flip out here intended for number 32, Ricky Waters, and that's incomplete.
Did you hear the crowd? The crowd was going Ooh, because they saw the pressure coming from the backside of John Kitna. Jason Taylor looks like he's going to come from behind and hit him, cause a fumble, but he steps up, gets rid of the football.
A look at Kitna's numbers today. 23 touchdowns, 16 interceptions on the season. And a big 3rd and 9. Over the middle, incomplete. Intended for Joey Galloway, and Surtain makes the defensive play.
Boy, nice job by Surtain, just being close to Joey Galloway. Look at that, right on him going across the field. Joey Galloway, oh, nice, reaches out. Boom, knocks it out. Good play.
Patrick Surtain giveth and he taketh away.
Well, listen, you're going to play corner for the Dolphins. If you don't have a short memory, you won't be on the team, because they are going to put the pressure on you to keep performing.
Fiegel with the kick. Jacquet will return this one from the 19. 30. Close to the 40-yard line. Pretty good field position for Dan Marino and the Miami Dolphins as they take the field again. With an average starting position from the 30-yard line, the Seattle Seahawks had the best drive start positions in the AFC this season, but it hasn't happened for them here in the second half. From the 40, J.J. Johnson breaks through across midfield, across the 45 to the 42-yard line.
I'll tell you what, I would have stood up here and I would have done anything to tell you this is going to be a pass by the Miami Dolphins. But watch how up front they do a good job of blocking. Center Tim Ruddy, good position. Good block by Stanley Pritchett, the fullback. And Jimmy Johnson, true to his word, and the Dolphins being patient. Patient, take your time, wait, the plays will happen.
Johnson again, across the 40 to about the 37-yard line. Jimmy Johnson said, they may scream and yell at me, but we're going to stick with the run today.
Well, this is what happens in all running games. If you stay with it, look at that, from the first half to the second half, when you want to run the football, so many times it's going to be ugly and look bad, but you must stay with it, believe in what you're doing, and the more chances you give it, the better chances you have, of course, of making some plays.
83 yards for J.J. Johnson today. This time the fake to Johnson. Marino looks and throws it away and almost threw an interception. Threw it right at Chad Brown.
Chad Brown. I think Dan Marino was throwing it away, but you're going to throw it away. Get it out of there. Oh, and he gets the old hook job.
I think Chad was pointing right at Dan Marino. And
look at Homer. That is great.
So it's 3rd and 5. Movement up front.
Tim Ruddy moved the football to center. He flinched.
And is immediately pleading his case.
I saw the football move.
False start. Illegal snap. Number 61 offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
Well, let's just watch the football. Whoops. Dan tickled him. You know, you can't do that during the game.
Not a whole lot of penalties today. 57 yards worth against Miami.
I think that was Miami's first false start of the game with all this noise. That's pretty impressive.
Comes the blitz. Marino throws incomplete. And the Dolphins will have to kick.
Well, what you got to do, pressure on Dan Marino. Receivers were open. He just didn't have the time, but you got to keep playing field position. The Dolphins.
The Seattle Kingdome, provided by Southwest Airlines. 12:35 to play. And a first down for Kitna and the Seahawks from the 15. Ricky Waters for about a yard. It'll be 2nd and 9.
Greg, we talked about Cortez Kennedy and Sam Adams. You know, we left out two guys that have done it all year and really have been more productive than the Seattle duo, and that's Daryl Gardner and Tim Bowens. They have been strong up the middle today, dominating the line of scrimmage, and that's why the Dolphin defense has played well. Big Daryl Gardner, now, you know, he is really big. You meet him in person, you can't believe it.
Kitna gonna come deep down the near sideline. Galloway, and it's incomplete. Surtain was with it.
Now that's how you cover the deep ball. He knows it's not a blitz. It's going to be deep down the field. And watch Patrick Surtain as he goes down. Now, I'll tell you what, there's got to be some nervous moments if you're a defensive back. That's Joey Galloway. But he turns, he looks for the football, gets himself in good position, and just doesn't allow Joey Galloway to make any adjustment to catch the pass.
We've seen some wide receivers turn defensive backs in a hurry here this afternoon. Galloway in motion on 3rd down. Kitna over the middle. Oh, what a diving catch by Foria. Out close to the 30-yard line and a first down.
What a big play. What a nice throw. Watch this. The Miami Dolphins have a defense alignment in the middle. John Kitna sees him, gets it over Rich Owens. And Christian Foria makes a nice stretch and a catch.
Oh, that's highlight reel stuff.
Oh, that is awesome. And Rich Owens, I saw him in the middle of the field, and John Kitna saw him too. Perfect throw.
The fake to Waters. Kitna on the move, throws complete, and what a hit on Foria, but he held on to the football. Brock Marion at full speed from the safety position.
That is making some plays under pressure. The receivers for the Seahawks playing tough right now, and that is a big-time hit. Brock Marion sees this coming. Lead him to me, he says. He does. Ow. But he holds on to the football. A lot of times those result in turnovers.
The pitch to Ricky Waters. Tries the left side, and he is tackled by Sean Woodward. It'll be 3rd down.
Well, I tell you what, the other thing is that John Kitna has been strong, steady, smart. He's had some first playoff game experience. Really he has played well. Look at the stats. Made some tough throws, protected the football well. These last two throws, especially the 3rd down one, that could have won the game. That could be the difference maker. It got them out of a big hole, and Miami's defense dominating. Somebody had to make the play, and he did it.
4 wide receivers on 3rd and 2. Kitna. Time running out on him, is caught from behind and brought down. Trace Armstrong again.
As you just watch the game, you can just feel it, you can see it. They are working so hard. This Miami defense just keeps coming, and finally they get John Kitna. They cover the receivers down the field, and they make the play.
Is Jeff Fiegels having a good day kicking the football?
He is a big difference in this game today. That punt, John Kitna's one big first down, changed field position by about 35 yards.
J.J. Johnson wrapped up by Chad Brown.
You know, Greg, it's not always scoring points, as we talked about. Seattle backed up. They hit the big 3rd down. They hit another pass, doesn't get the first down. A good punt, and look what it's done to the game, how it changed the thinking of the teams, how it changed field position. The Dolphins trying to come out from the end zone makes it tough, too, because of the crowd noise.
You saw Dan Marino with his hands to his helmet, and he's in a noisy end of the stadium. Throws near side and just short of Tony Martin, his intended receiver.
Well, that's one you got to hit. Good protection that time for Dan Marino. Blitz. Nobody underneath the throw. Willie Williams was way off. Watch this. You know, this is a throw that Dan Marino's hit 10,000 times. Well, I'll take it back. Now I know why it ended up short. He got hit as he was trying to get it out there. Pretty tough.
And now the Seahawks call timeout. Seattle with 2 timeouts remaining now here in the second half. Miami with all 3 of theirs still remain. While we have a moment, let's tell you about Monday night. There's no more football, so now's your chance to see why millions of viewers have made Family Law Monday night's #1 drama. Don't miss the powerful all-new episode Monday here on CBS.
You know what? The Seattle fans, they've hung in there pretty good today. I didn't know if they had the endurance to go all the way. You know, they're not in playoff shape. They haven't been in the playoffs in a long time either, but they have been waving those towels, making noise, and doing it at the appropriate time, which is sometimes, you know, you get it home when you're on offense, your crowd's making noise, you go, come on.
You hate to waste your best.
That's right.
Listen to them now on 3rd and 12. Safeties creeping up for the blitz, and there was movement up front. Might have been Richmond Webb.
False start. Offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty remains 3rd down.
Well, I don't blame Richmond Webb. Dan Marino that time in the Dolphin offense, they just take too long to get the play off. And he sees everybody creeping up. Look at everybody coming up for the blitz. He knows it's going to be trouble. You have to get up there, go on time, snap the ball, and try to make the play.
3rd and 17, and here's where Marino has to be careful not to give it away. From his goal line, throws. Oh, what a catch across the 30-yard line by Tony Martin. 24 yards and a first down.
Wow, Dan Marino, that is a quarterback seeing the space in the middle of the field. He anticipates the throw, where to let it go, and what a catch by Tony Martin. Gets his hands underneath it. Watch as he goes down. Arms underneath the football. Big first down.
Out to the 31-yard line now, and a first down for Miami. Clock coming up on 7:45 to play here in the 4th quarter. Far side, complete, out of bounds, Martin again.
Almost the identical play that we saw earlier, Greg, to the other side. A blitz by Seattle, and every time they blitz, that means outside the corners one-on-one, and that makes it really easy for the wide receivers of Miami Dolphins, because those corners, what they're worried about is getting beat deep.
Once again, Chad Brown on the blitz.
That's right.
First down from the 48.
Here they come again.
On the draw, J.J. Johnson across midfield to the 49-yard line. Saw Mike Holmgren patrolling the sideline on the far side of the field.
You know what I find interesting? Every time I see the Dolphins, and we've done this many times, if they have a running play and it gets like a yard or two, Dan Marino's first reaction is to look at the sideline, take both arms, and just wave at them like, what are you guys doing?
What they're doing right now is trying to keep the Seahawks off balance. 2nd and 7. Steps up over the middle, caught by Martin inside the 30-yard line, and another first down for the Dolphins. And another terrific throw by Marino.
Jimmy Johnson, he's going back to the candy store, Greg. And that means he's letting Dan Marino do it. And what a read and throw in anticipation. You saw number 28, Kerry Josephs, around Cortez Kennedy. Look at the safety. He was underneath waiting for it. Kerry Joseph, number 28. Marino anticipated, threw behind him, gets a big completion.
6 minutes to play here in the fourth. J.J. Johnson throws it back to Marino. Marino throws to no one in the end zone. And now a penalty marker is thrown. And they're going to say, Dan, you didn't have a receiver down there. And you know what? They're going to be right.
Well, they are. Under the rule, he is inside the tackle from tight end to tight end. He's inside there, but he wasn't under duress. There was nobody there to make the sack. But there was no receiver around.
I'm going to say conservatively, there was no receiver within 30 yards of the football.
Now watch this. You see Dan Marino behind.
There is no foul on the play for intentional grounding. The runner had left the pocket area with the ball. The ball came back into the pocket area. Although the ball was thrown into an area with no receiver, this is no foul. Second down.
Wow, that's right. Good call. Stanley Pritchett had left the area, the pocket area, with the football. So it is this is not a drop back pass or where the quarterback has it the whole time. So Dan Marino did not have to get outside the pocket. Stanley Pritchett outside the tackle box or the tight end box.
And with 2nd and 10, timeout is called.
This is their second charge team timeout.
And this timeout is charged to the Seattle.
Here would be the lines. The tight end. He is outside the tight end box or the tight end alignment from side to side. And see, my point of contention always is Dan Marino. How many times have you seen a quarterback like that throw it out of bounds and nothing's called? There's nobody around. He was not under duress, not ready to take a sack. So if his receiver's covered, why does he have to throw it close to the receiver? You know, so the rule applied, a good rule, it made sense, and it was the right call.
Dolphins have dominated total yardage this half. 2nd and 10. Marino has it batted back into his face. Cortez Kennedy got a hand on it.
Number 96, Cortez Kennedy.
Marino had that happen, what, 4 times last week at Washington?
Well, he's had quite a few hits a day, too. But what that is, most of the time, Greg, when you see it getting hit like that, it just means the defensive line is pushing the offensive line back towards the quarterback. Not enough separation between the quarterback and offensive line for him to throw the ball over him.
This drive began at the 15-yard line of the Dolphins. 3rd and 10.
Here they come.
And a man jump offside, up the middle, complete, inside the 10 to the 5-yard line is Oronde Gadsden. And now let's check the markers.
I have been watching Dan Marino, and he has been dying to throw this football against his splits. But they've been a little bit unlucky, having running plays sometimes called against it.
Offside, defense, number 92, in the neutral zone at the snap. The
Watch him at the bottom. There he
down.
comes. And watch Dan Marino, the blitz. Nice job of picking it up. He knows he's got to get rid of it quick. And Oronde Gadsden, such a big target. Dan Marino likes laying the ball up to him. That time, sees the middle of the field open, throws it. He goes up, makes the catch.
24-yard pickup, 1st and goal at the 5. J.J. Johnson to the 2. Jade Bellamy in on the stop. Clock continues to move up on 5 minutes to play here in regulation.
What a drive by the Dolphins. It all started back. Dan Marino backed up in his own end zone, anticipates a big in cut by Tony Martin, throws it in there, and Tony Martin makes a tremendous catch.
2nd and goal. The pitch to Johnson. Cuts it back. Touchdown. Jimmy Johnson told us, if I had my druthers, I'd like to keep it close and win it in the 4th quarter.
And they are winning this game for a couple reasons. Oh, look at Jimmy Johnson. It kind of shows you if a team is not playing well coming into the playoffs that you can turn it around. You have to go back to some basics. The Dolphins did it. They played a solid game today, I think, because of that reason.
Olindo Mare's kick is good. The Miami Dolphins have come back to grab the lead, 20-17, 4:48 to play in the 4th. Seattle fans are a little quieter. Dan Marino engineered an 11-play, 85-yard drive. J.J. Johnson's 2-yard touchdown, and the Dolphins have the lead. Charlie Rogers from the goal line. Hit just outside the 20 and falls forward to about the 22 or 23-yard line before being driven back. And onto the field comes John Kitna, who probably has not experienced pressure quite like this. His 2nd half doesn't begin to measure up to his 1st half.
Well, I don't know if it's John Kitna. He's kept them in the game, even with that. He made the Dolphins go on that long drive because of his throws the last series. But the difference, the Dolphin defense has applied the pressure all day long.
And whistles blow, flags fly, and a false start on the Seahawks.
False start. Offense, number 81. 5-yard penalty remains 1st down.
Sean Dawkins on the far side of the field.
You know, Greg, you said too, the Seattle Seahawks 1 timeout left. So if they get a couple 1st downs here and they move this ball out, it's got to change their outlook. They got to start thinking about maybe it's a 4-down territory.
1st and 15. Kitna under the gun, and down he goes at the 15-yard line. Trace Armstrong, number 3 on the day.
Couple things happen. Man coverage down the field, tight coverage, but just watch the defensive line of the Miami Dolphins. They just push the pocket, crush it, and Trace Armstrong falls off the block and makes the sack.
Kitna has been sacked 5 times today. 3 of them belong to Armstrong.
And that time, Lorenzo Bromell inside, pushed the center, Chris Gray back, allowed Trace Armstrong to get the sack.
On 2nd down, Kitna down again. Jerry Wilson and Rich Owens.
Just about all day long, except the first pass attempt by John Kitna. Here comes Wilson, sees his guy blocks, so he comes in. He had the tight end in coverage. When the tight end Fourier blocked, he came on the blitz and got the sack. They have been coming free today on the blitz. John Kitna's been getting away from them, but not in this series.
Seattle needs the 33-yard line for a 1st down. Kitna caught again. Trace Armstrong has been all over the backfield.
I'd say he's a 3rd down pass rushing specialist. Trace Armstrong, 93 on the outside, just keeps working. What a job by Trace Armstrong.
The Dolphins, 7 quarterback sacks on the day. Fiegels to kick to Nate Jaquette. High kick. Jaquette from the 36. Midfield. 40 to the 38-yard line, and great field position for the Miami Dolphins. With 2:52 to play, we remind you tonight on CBS, if you or someone close to you is thinking about adopting a child, you don't want to miss 60 Minutes. Also, Ed Bradley talks with Denzel Washington. Then it's an all-new Touched by an Angel, followed by the People's Choice Awards. That's all tonight, and it's all right here on CBS. Fabian Bowens is the Seattle Seahawk down on the field at the 35-yard line.
Well, you look at this second half, there's Trace Armstrong. You look at it, the Miami Dolphins, except for the kickoff return, physically, the offense and defensive line, they have won the battle. Greg, how many times do we say, when your big guys win the battle, that lets those small guys become the stars? And Dan Marino given the chances, along with his receivers, making the plays, and the defensive line has just been terrific the whole second half for the Miami Dolphins.
Dan Marino and the Miami Dolphins trying to snap a losing streak on the road that goes all the way back to December of 1972 in Pittsburgh. The Dolphins have lost 7 road games in the playoffs since then.
Let's take a look at the play selection for the Miami Dolphins. 33 rushes, 31 passes.
Phil, Jimmy Johnson's a man of his word.
Well, he is. Well, listen, he was only able to keep his word because the defense played well, kept the game close, let him be patient, and over time, because of his patience, it let his offensive line be physical, it let them get in the game, it kept the Seattle crowd out of the game as much as it could, and that's put all those together, that's why they're winning the game right now.
Marino, 17 of 30, 196 yards and a touchdown. Autry Denson squirms across the 40 to the 39-yard line. And Seattle uses its third and final timeout. That man, Mike Holmgren, in his first season here in Seattle, but has never lost a playoff game at home in his head coaching career in the NFL.
Well, he's tearing up an official right now. Now there's 2 minutes and 45 seconds to go. The Dolphins, if you're going to run the football, you need a run. It's going to eat up a couple seconds because once the play's done, that 40-second clock starts again. You get under 2:40, of course, the Dolphins can let it run to the 2-minute warning.
If Miami wins, the Dolphins move on to Jacksonville next weekend to play the Jaguars, and Tennessee goes to Indianapolis. But there's still plenty of time. The pitch for Denson. Wrapped up for a loss by Chris Canty, number 26.
5-yard line by Chris Canty.
And the Dolphins will not run another play before the 2-minute warning sounds.
No, they'll do the right thing, but Seattle play and run all the way. Safeties, defensive backs, Chris Canty up near the line of scrimmage, just play and run. Doing the right thing, and now it comes down to what do the Miami Dolphins want to do on this third down? Do you want to run it to keep the clock moving, or do you try to throw it to get close enough for a field goal or to pick up the first down?
Are the Miami Dolphins 2 minutes away from Jacksonville? Jimmy Johnson hopes so. 20-17 of all the weekend playoff action, all coming up on the American General post-game show. 3rd and 15. They'll keep it on the ground, and Denson is wrapped up by Darren Smith.
That is the right call. Run the football, keep the clock moving, punt it. Let your defense, which is the big reason why you win the game, let them try to hold on for you.
Charlie Rogers will go back to receive the punt. An 85-yard kickoff return in this game, and take a look at that number on Tom Hutton. Rogers with the 85-yard return. He was the #1 punt returner in the NFL in the regular season. And they let the play clock expire. And we'll back it off another 5 yards. Clock is down to 1:12.
Well, that's not really, it's not to get the 5 yards. You don't even care about that. It's just about taking every single second possible off that clock before he snapped the football.
Delay game. Offense. 5-yard penalty remains 4th down.
Should the Miami Dolphins win, there will be 3 Florida teams in action in the playoffs on Saturday. Miami, Jacksonville, Tampa Bay.
You must have majored in geography.
Hutton, high floater. Charlie Rogers, fair catch at the 11-yard line. So the Seattle Seahawks, with no timeouts remaining, are 89 yards away from the end zone. They need 3 points to tie it up and send it to overtime.
Well, the big thing is, how do you play offense if you're the Seattle Seahawks? I think you got to keep a back or somebody in on the right side of that offensive line, because that's where Trace Armstrong and everybody, the Dolphins are beating up the right side of Seattle's offensive line. Got a tight end right there this time.
Joey Galloway flanked to the near side of the field. Kitna over the middle, incomplete. Guess who was in on John Kitna?
Well, Grant Williams just not quick enough. Trace Armstrong, it almost like he's got a little signal over there we don't know about, but watch how quick he gets off the football and gets that shoulder down, gets around the corner. John Kitna has no chance. You've got to keep it back in the backfield.
62 seconds to play. Kitna on the move, throws, it is tipped and incomplete. Zach Thomas almost had the interception.
Well, at least he had a chance to throw it. That time they doubled Trace Armstrong to the right, and Zach Thomas late in the game, I guess he gets tired, but this ball is right. It is right to him. It's an easy interception. Well, it's easy for me to say. I haven't made all those tackles and run around for a couple hours.
Zach has played his usual active, involved football game.
Well, he was right. He's been begging for the Dolphins to go back to the old style, how they play football, and it's worked so far today.
3rd down. Kitna throws far side, almost picked off by Sam Madison, who tied for the lead in interceptions in the NFL this year with 7. 4th down.
Well, if this Dolphin defense and team can hang on, they will go down next week with confidence and the swagger. That's what made this defense. It's got some good players on it, some pretty solid corners, but they have a swagger and a way about playing. And look what the Seahawks, they average and how they struggled today.
4th down. Kitna steps up, throws over the middle. Sean Dawkins complete for a 1st down. Clock is moving, 40 seconds to play.
Nice job by John Kitna, just buying time, moving around.
And he kills the clock at 35 seconds.
It's almost what you got to count on if you're the Seattle Seahawks offense. And John Kitna, watch this, he drops back. The Dolphins, now they're just going all out trying to get to the quarterback. Look at that lane that's created. And he makes the perfect throw.
Still not quite relaxed on the Miami sideline. 2nd and 10. Remember, Seattle, no timeouts. Kitna throws it away.
There is no foul for intentional grounding. The quarterback that rolled out of the pocket.
There you go. That was a nice job. Nice job, Tony Corrente. He just gets that argument done right away. He goes over the PA system.
Jimmy Johnson was, as energetic as I've seen him in a while on the sideline. For those of you expecting to see 60 Minutes, you're watching the NFL on CBS. The Miami Dolphins and the Seattle Seahawks. Greg Gumbel along with Phil Simms and Armin Katayan, 20-17 Miami. 60 Minutes will be seen in its entirety immediately following this game, except on the West Coast. Kitna with time, throws, near side, picked off.
Terrell Buckley.
What a break and what a catch by Terrell Buckley. The player that Jimmy Johnson was probably more concerned about than anybody. And he says this guy, when he is scared, and he said he's scared coming into the game today, he plays his best football. Look at that catch. And John Kitna, not a bad decision, not even a bad throw. You got to take chances in these situations. But Terrell Buckley comes up with the play, and look at Dan Marino. He has won a lot of football games in his career, but the adversity and what he's gone through this year, I promise you, this is a sweet moment for him.
And with a knee, that will do it. The Miami Dolphins qualify to move on to Jacksonville. Tennessee will play Indianapolis on Sunday, Miami and Jacksonville Saturday. Jimmy Johnson, last words in our meeting last night, we can win this football game. Once again, our final score, Miami 20 and Seattle 17. Coming up next on CBS, except in the Pacific time zone. Watch 60 Minutes, but first, we'll send you to our NFL on CBS studios for the American General postgame show right after these messages. For Phil Simms and Armin Katayan, I'm Greg Gumbel. So long from Seattle, you've been watching the NFL on CBS.
The American General Financial Group, live the life you've imagined, presents A Season to Remember.
Peyton Manning is putting on a command performance. Who got him?
Who else?
Javon Curse tripped him up.
And Kurt Warner with a beautiful throw.
The Browns have won their first game. Unbelievable.
The Colts have won the AFC East for the first time in 12.
Imagine.
Hi, everybody. Jim Nantz with you from our NFL Today studios. Welcome to the American General postgame show. A road team wins for the first time in the playoffs after the home team had won the first 3 games over the weekend. Craig, Randy, and Jerry are here, and your take on this big Dolphin win, Coach.
Well, they deserve to win. I should say the Seahawks did not. They had them on the 8-yard line, 92 yards away, 3rd and 17 on them, and they run a 3-man rush, let them complete it. They deserve to lose this football game, the Seahawks.
And who knows, there could be another surprise in store next Saturday because Miami will be taking on Jacksonville in the AFC divisional round. Sunday, it'll be Tennessee against Indianapolis, Randy.
Well, that dancing sound you heard out there were the Jacksonville Jaguars because they won't have to play Tennessee next Saturday.
To Seattle, where the Dolphins advance with the upset over the Seahawks, and Armin Katayan is there.
Coach, 36 rushes, 0 turnovers. Patience was the virtue today.
Well, you know, this is exactly what we talked about Monday and Wednesday with the team. We said we're going to run the ball, we're going to be patient, you know, we're not going to panic if we get behind or if something goes against us, and we're going to win it in the 4th quarter. I thought our guys stuck exactly to the plan. It's first time in 28 years the Miami Dolphins won a road playoff game, so quite an accomplishment by these players. They did a great job of preparing all week. Probably as good a preparation this week by these players as what we've had all year.
Just a quick thought on Dan and his performance today.
I thought Dan did a great job. He made some great throws, and the receivers made the plays. We had good protection. Overall, I mean, you know, I can't be any more happy about any phase.
South Florida goes to North Florida now. Your thoughts on playing Jacksonville?
Well, you know, obviously Jacksonville's got a great football team, and going on the road again, that's a difficult chore, but I know our guys are excited about doing it. We talked about it. In fact, you know, before we started this ball game, you know, we always kind of put up our hands and 1, 2, 3 cheer, and our deal was 1, 2, 3. Let's go to Jacksonville.
Great job, Coach. Congratulations.
And they are going to Jacksonville. Marino, 168 yards in that second half and a touchdown, directing the come-from-behind victory. We'll see you Saturday with Jacksonville, Miami, 12 noon Eastern. Good night, everybody.